Here is the plot synopsis for Late Fame, by the way. The movie stars Greta Lee and Willem Dafoe. They are leading this movie. The movie is directed by Kent Jones. Quote, legendary New York poet Ed Saxberger, played by Willem Dafoe, his forgotten works captivate an eccentric group of young creatives, reigniting his artistic passion. Now, Ed Saxberger, he is a lifelong postal worker in the big city of New York, but this intrigue with this new young group of artists, intertwines with the bewitching presence of an actress named Gloria, played by Greta Lee. You might know Greta Lee from that beautiful movie Past Lives. She's been I think she was in a whole bunch of other stuff, which I have not seen. I'm trying to think of that Apple TV series. Was it called The Morning Show? She might be a regular, but she's done her share. I think she was in the Neutron movie, et cetera, et cetera. But I still haven't seen Past Lives, by the way. I don't know if you ever saw Past Lives, Eric Holmes. But she's very good in this. Greta Lee, she plays an actress named Gloria. She's part of the young group that is bewitched by Ed Saxberger's previous collection of poems, which was, I think, released back in either 1977 or 79. And since then, after releasing that poetry book, which is hard to find, period, because it was an obscure work, after that, he became a postal worker. But for some reason, someone in this group found that book of poems, that collection of poems, and is transfigured. And eventually, Ed Saxberger becomes pretty much an inspiration for this group to trudge on and possibly, well, actually not possibly, they want to create a big mic night in some local area in New York City. And that's the big plot thing is for Late Fame, is the idea that it's all hedging towards or meeting towards this big night of poetry reading and acting. I think the group is called the Enthusiasm Club. Will this club do? Oh, yes, Eric, please correct me.
It wasn't club. It was
society. The Enthusiasm Society?
I think so. It sounded really stupid.
It's something like, I think the Enthusiasm Society, and now Saxberger is a member of that. And then temporarily, remember, Saxberger is now older and he's looking back at how his life was when he first moved into New York as an aspiring poet. And he's looking back at his past thanks to this group. Will that work? Will the past come and will he become a new man? Will this group are they true artists or are they a bunch of posers? These are some of the mysteries that lie in Late Fame. Off to you, Eric, for your review of this movie and thoughts as well.
I thought this movie started off real strong. The whole interaction between him and the main guy, I forget his name, but the guy that approaches Willem Dafoe.
A leader of the group, and that I don't know his specific name, but he is the guy who created the group. He's played by actor Edmund Donovan.
Yeah. So their first encounter, and I recognize a lot of stuff about that, not being recognized for fame or anything like that, but I recognize the whole idea of someone being interested in some art thing that you did in the past that you've since put behind you. Oh, hey, I really dug your poetry and all my friends dig it. It's like, okay. Because when I did it, no one gave a crap and I just moved on and did other things. And then so it's weird getting your head back. When you make something, you're like super excited. Hey, I did this thing, or hey, I wrote this thing, or hey, I made this music, or whatever it is. You usually get excited to show someone because you're excited to make it and you're proud of it. And then when you get a resounding no one cares, that, especially after over decades, that beats you down after a while. And then so when you have someone that just comes across it and really appreciates it.
Yeah.
I could see where that would be strange because your brain has already trained you into no one cares. We're not talking about this anymore. So then when someone sees it and they want to talk about it, it's like, I don't know how to react to this. Everyone I've ever brought this up to, everyone I've ever talked about this, even the people that should care, because from his perspective, it's like, I published this and no one cared. And then now we're decades later and all of a sudden these people are like, hey, can I meet you? Can you come to the thing? Why? I mean, it's cool that you had something out of it, but I already put that behind me.
Yeah.
And then now he's like slowly getting back into it. And then the part where they get to is he goes to the bar where all his buddies are And he's at this point, he's jazzed about his poetry again. Oh, yeah, I guess I did do pretty good. These people seem to dig it. And then he goes, gives his buddy one of his first edition of his poetry books. It's like, here's this. And it's like, oh, what's this? And they're like, he sees almost immediately, oh, this was a bad idea.
And then it's a
I'd show you, but I think it'd be lost. I tell it, hey, Saxburger, tell us the poem. Come on, go ahead and read one of your poetry poems.
and it's one of the it's one of those things where it's understandable why that would be a pushback, because he's been going to this bar, playing pool, having maybe a local meal every week, right? He saves up maybe a couple of times a week to have a local meal and a couple of beers at his local pub or bar. And he's known these guys for at least 30 years, right? And he's never mentioned his artistic side, his love for poetry. All that's gone. So he is just the blue collar workers or the regulars. They know him as just this average Joe who just like them. So when that happens later in the story, it's very interesting that there would be that conflict.
I love his response. Well, you think I'm too lowbrow to get it? Yes, I do. You're too lowbrow for this. I'm like, I mean, he's not wrong. Just like, you're gonna sit there and give me crap about my poetry. You don't even understand it. You're not even giving it a fair shake. I'm your friend and you're already making fun of me. And you want me to back off of you're too lowbrow? No, you're very lowbrow and F you. And you're not gonna get it, and I'm not gonna give you the satisfaction of, you don't deserve the benefit of the doubt there. You've proven beyond a reasonable doubt that you do not have the mental fortitude to even attempt to watch this. But not all his friends are like that, though. And then that's cool, too.
That's very good. And I think this is a very interesting movie. I thought Bruce Perky would really love this movie. We'll get to his review at the second part of the next episode of CinemAddicts, which will come out later in the week. But
well, see, that's where this falters a bit, because I think shortly after that he meets that one lady, and then the movie sort of devolves, but the movie loses steam for me. Like just after that part of the bar, about the halfway point of the movie, I'm like, I'm in. This is speaking to me in so many different ways I didn't even realize. And then the last half's like, all right, I mean, it's not bad, but it's not nearly as strong as the first half of this.
We'll get to here's the thing. I think Eric and Bruce, they don't really see too many spoilers regarding this movie. Eric and I will maybe spend about 3 to 5 minutes talking about the spoilers, and I'll save that clip for our CinemAddicts YouTube channel. We'll save the spoilers for later, after not this episode, but we'll put it up on CinemAddicts later in the week, this weekend. But yes, Eric, sorry for interrupting.
I will say my thoughts on this movie, mileage may vary. I may be too low for this.
Oh, get out of here. That's funny. You may be. I will say this. I love this.
Willem Dafoe, you think I'm too lowbrow for your movie? Yes. You're too stupid. You should have watched something else.
I love this movie because, like Eric says, for the first half, you really get into the insular life of Saxburger, his daily routine as a postal worker. He's not a depressed guy. He has his issues. There's an issue with a dying brother.
I mean, he's pretty content with his current life.
There is a little subplot regarding a dying brother that you realize from a phone call, and there's a reason why he doesn't want to visit his dying brother. But that's just one of the little mini subplots of this movie. But like Eric said, he is content with his job as a postal worker. He's been there at least over 30 years. Sometimes he goes home, walks home midday in the city to make himself a sandwich, save some money. And he's a very smart, blue-collar, living and working in New York, visiting his local bodega for drinks. Very good. That's a nice life. I like the life that was portrayed in Late Fame. But here's the thing. There is a second half where we see he somewhat takes a back seat to the actual reading, because there is a performance towards the third act, and then he starts getting involved. We're not going to say how far it gets, but he starts becoming interested in that actress, Gloria, again, played by Greta Lee, and they have a whole 15-20 minute situation within the city. There may be mushrooms involved, and it's very surreal. I love the Greta Lee performance as Gloria because there is one musical number she does. She does a reading at the event, and it's a very interesting character. I don't think she'll
Oh,
get a. Oh, you don't. You're what? You didn't like the performance
no,
of?
I forgot all about that, and that was really good. We'll talk about it in spoilers.
Okay, yeah, she has a very whether okay. Eric
You,
is a little bit down
you
on
could say
second.
she slept walk through it.
I thought it was a very good performance by Greta Lee. Really loved her in this. I am a voter for CCA. I am going to put her on my short list of, well, not short list being maybe 15. I'm going to start making my list. She's going to be right up there as for supporting actress. She does a really good job with what she, because there are different levels to Gloria as you will find out within the narrative. So she is a big part of Late Fame, but again, overall, the movie is about Saxberger and whether he transformed or not from this experience. Eric Holmes, your final thoughts and your rating on Late Fame.
Yeah, I think this was the greatness of this movie was certainly front loaded. Back half was fine, but I wasn't in love with it the way I am in the first half. I was gonna go 3 stars, but I completely forgot about that lead thing at the end that we'll talk about in spoilers. That's gonna
Yeah.
bump it up another half star because that was pretty damn good. So I'll go 3.5.
3.5 stars from Eric Holmes for Late Fame. I really enjoyed this movie. This is actually one of those movies that I wouldn't mind rewatching again. Also, the filmmaker Kent Jones, I liked his previous movie, the 2018 film. I think it's called Diane. Let me look that up. Yeah, Diane.
He
Really
did
love that
that
movie
and Hitchcock Truffaut.
and love
I think
Hitchcock
that's the only.
Truffaut.
I think that's the only thing of his I saw.
Yeah,
I
he's
could be
just
wrong.
a very talented filmmaker and he's a lifelong cinephile as well. Loved this movie. Late Fame, very lo-fi, quiet film, but it's a great, meaty performance from Willem Dafoe. And I loved where his character goes throughout the movie, charted the whole thing. And I'm a fan of this of New York City, and there's a great level of feeling towards the city and the people. There is a poem he's working on, Saxberger, in preparation for the reading. And I think the words that he's currently struggling with is he writes down the words seasons collide. And that is a way to discuss or to describe Late Fame because seasons collide. His past is colliding with his present. And that's, you see that collision, not just within Saxberger, but there are moments when you see New York, how it used to be as compared to how New York is a little bit now, parts of it that is a little bit being gentrified. And that may or may not be exemplified by the young creatives who are really interested in Saxberger as well. So we'll talk about that in the spoilers. But for me, Late Fame, I related to it like Eric does, but I just really glommed onto this movie. 4.5 stars for me for Late Fame.
I'll
Really
also
dug it.
point out that the talking about Spider-Man prior to this had nothing to do with Willem Dafoe in this movie because I just now realized he was Green Goblin. And
Right.
yeah, that
Right.
was just a happy accident. That was not a planned thing.
It's very funny. Currently, as of this recording, it is rated with has an 89% Rotten Tomatoes rating. It will be in New York starting August 7th. The following week, it will be August 4th. And then it will have a nationwide rollout in the coming weeks.